Welcome to the second in our application support webinars for the Governor of Victoria Export Awards. These webinars are presented on behalf of Global Victoria. I'm Collins Rex and I'll be taking you through today's webinar as well as those coming up for the next three, I think we have, after another two after today. So let's get straight into it. We explained in the first webinar that there were 5 main sections to the application form. Today we're going to pause on question number 3, which is all about your international business strategy. This question, as you can see from the list there, has a substantial weighting. It gives you 40% of your score, and that should give you a sense of just how important this question is. Just to recap over our previous webinar, there are 13 national categories. You will have chosen the categories in which you enter. In the previous question, you would have given specific information around each of those categories. And now we start moving back into the overall application, which is not specific to your category, but is all about your business. Again, just a reminder that you need to know what you do well and you need to convey it in language that the judges will understand. So question 3, all about international business strategy, several components to this question and a number of different word allocations in each of those sections. 40% overall weighting. Question 3.1, tell us about your international business and marketing strategies. This question is all about how your business has adapted to working internationally. I'm also going to pause on that word strategy. Very important as you go through this section of the application that you make a distinction between strategy and activity. This question is not just about what you do, which is the activities, it is also fundamentally about why, the strategy behind what you do. So why is it that you've chosen to do specific things? The judges are going to be looking for that reasoning. So how has your business adapted? What strategies have you employed to achieve international business success? How have you adapted your product and why to meet your customer preferences? How have you built relationships with your distributors and your buyers? How have you attended trade events? Do you? Why do you? How do you deliver what you do? And again, why? Any repackaging that you've done, any relabeling that you've done, and it could be as simple as you've needed to do that depending on the legislation of the country in which you're going, but you need to explain that. Any innovative marketing strategies that you employ? Do you address cultural issues in your marketing materials and why? Do you embark on digital marketing campaigns? Do you use social media and why? Any rebranding that you have done in your target market and why? You are allowed 200 words here. Again, use them. Bear in mind, it is an online application process, so when you finally come to lodge your application, the system will only allow you 200 words. So if you have 201, you're going to lose the last one. Another reason why, as we said in webinar 1, you want to be doing this in Word and then cut and pasting into the online application. Question 3.2 is a new one this year. This question asks if your company has any diversity, inclusion, or social impact programs or initiatives that you would like to highlight. Now, I'm going to put this out there. You've got 150 words. Do not leave this question blank. Even if you do not have any written policies, any specific statements, you need in your business to be addressing diversity, inclusion, and or social impact. You need to explain what you do, how you do it, and why you do it in this section of the question. So please just bear that in mind. Don't leave it blank. You need to be thinking about these things, and the judging panel is going to be looking to whether you are thinking about these issues or not. Question 3.3 is where you start putting in figures. This is a table that you're going to be completing, and you are asked to submit your total sales figures for the past 3 financial years. Very important. 3 financial years, the most recent of which is the current financial year that ends 30 June. If you have a calendar month, rather a calendar year rather than a financial year, a norm, then you use the previous calendar year. So it's the last full calendar year. So for those of you that have 30 June as your end of financial year, the figures that you put in, most recent figures, will be 2018-19. You will be putting in 2017-18 and 2016-17. If you are a calendar year business, so your business year ends 31 December, the most recent figures that you put in will be 2018, going 2017 and 2016 for the previous 2. Now, just a note on this current financial year, or the financial year just ended. Obviously, you would not yet have been audited by the time you complete your application. Those figures for 2018-19 will be estimates, and just indicate that, and everybody will be on the same page. So your total domestic and international sales added together for the last 3 financial years. Very important that you get that right. Now, you're also going to then break it down further into your online export sales if you are an e-commerce category entrant, or just your export sales. So we want your international plus your domestic, and then we want just your export sales, and if you are an e-commerce category entrant, also the total of the export sales that you did online. And that is to make sure that you have a decent enough percentage to actually qualify for that category. If you don't sell substantially online and you're not entering the e-commerce category, you're not going to complete that section. You'll just have your total sales and then your export sales. The next component of this question, 3.4, is about your key export markets. You need to break up your export sales into your key export markets, and you can list up to 9. Now, please make sure that when you add up all these different markets, it adds up to the figure that you put in the first question. You don't want a variation there, because clearly it's going to raise some red flags. And again, it's over the past 3 financial years. It's a table. You're allowed up to 9. You don't have to have 9. So if you only have 3 export markets, that's fine. List the 3 that you have. If, however, you have more than 9, what I suggest you do is choose the top 8 to specify, and then put all the others together in that 9th line as rest of the world, other, etc. You can use whichever nomenclature that suits your purposes there. Make sure that the figures add up. Now, this question, export markets, is really looking for diversity. If you only have 1 export market, of course, that's relatively risky, because if you lose that export market, you are no longer an exporter. Don't worry if you only have 1 export market. State that. You will, however, have an opportunity later in the application to talk about how you are addressing diversification and moving into other markets potentially. So if the judges have any questions or issues, if they're concerned about one market, you have a way to explain how you're diversifying going forward. Please make sure that you have all your financial information ready. You cannot win an award without the financials. If you don't include your financials, if you don't include your figures and the breakdown of your market, you will be disqualified. And I'm going to stress here that all information you provide is treated with the utmost care and confidentiality. Every single judge enters into a confidentiality and a non-disclosure agreement. So you can rest assured that any information you provide is not going to be used for any purpose other than to assess your suitability to win an export award. Moving on to the key dates. Applications open now. Closing date is the 15th of July. Make sure that you have lodged your application online by 5 p.m. at the very latest on the 15th of July. Please do not leave it to the last minute. Online systems are notorious for falling over just when you don't want them to, so make sure that you can in fact lodge in good time. The Victorian Export Awards ceremony is in October and the National Awards ceremony is in December. Your Global Victoria contact is Darren Vouch. Darren's details are in front of you on the screen. Darren is your contact for any technical issues that you may have around the application, particularly if it comes to the technology not working quite as you expect it to work. Darren is also in a position to assist you with one-on-one mentoring if you need additional one-on-one information or assistance with your application before the 15th of July. Bearing in mind that time marches on, don't wait until the 14th of July to want help, because that's probably going to be too late. All that remains in today's webinar is to give you the application address. It's www.global.vic.gov.au/GOVEA. Go there, register, and start your application, and please don't wait until the last minute. Make sure you do it in good time. Thank you for your attention today. I look forward to your company in the remaining 2 webinars where we will be looking at the remainder of the application form. Thank you very much. Catch you next time.